everybody. I am very excited in the video for this week because I got a little package in the mail. When have I ever gotten a package this tiny from Boohoo? Probably never. But I was shopping online, I don't know, about a week ago, and it was because they had sales, as they always do, but I was actually very good. I didn't pick up any clothing. What I did pick up actually was something that I didn't even know Boohoo did. Boohoo has their own makeup range. So I browsed through it for about a good half an hour, and then I decided to spend some money because it also too was all on sale. I believe it was on the deal 40% off. So I basically picked up everything that they had where I could do a face out of it, and I have put it on my face now. So this is the products, and so I thought I would just review it and walk you through it to see if it would be something that you would be interested in purchasing. So they have not quite a full face of things. What is on my face at the moment that is not Boohoo is my eyebrows, my foundation, and my concealer. I actually don't have any face powder on at the moment, but they also don't have face powder. So essentially what is on my face is contour, highlight, blush, primer, the lipstick, the eyeliner, the eyeshadow, the mascara, and also setting spray. So everything in this collection is extremely affordable with or without a discount, but if you are on there and they do have a discount and you want to pick some of this stuff up, you may as well save some money. So I am just going to jump on through and kind of walk through the products that I picked up, and then also how I felt applying them and how they sort of performed on my face. The first thing obviously is the primer. So you get a 30 ml bottle of primer here, and it costs $8.40. Well, I paid $8.40, but I think it is around about the $10 or $11, something like that. But either way, it's actually quite affordable. You do get 30 mils, and it is a dimethicone based. Yeah, it's a dimethicone based. I do have a swatch there for you. It is silicone-y, so, and like that sort of slippery kind of feeling. So if you don't like that in your primers, you probably will not like this. However, when I was putting it on, I really quite liked it. It was very smoothing. It did smooth out any of my pores or any rough texture on my skin, and the foundation went on over the top really beautifully. It had no problem at all. It didn't make the foundation react strangely. No problem at all, sunk into the skin without any issues. And then with the power of editing, I suddenly have concealer and foundation on. So the next thing that I moved on to was obviously more face products. Now, for some reason, I couldn't record this bit, or it didn't. I thought it was recording and it wasn't. But I actually did the contour first. This is the contour kit. This is what it looks like. And then it's a lovely rose gold blush packaging. And then on the inside, you obviously get your contour color, your highlight color, and then like an evening out color, I guess. And I took the highlight color underneath the eyes and just sort of ran it around the eyes for a bit of brightening, and then obviously took the contour color onto my cheekbones. Again, I didn't record it, so unfortunately you couldn't see, but I did blend it in on my cheekbones there and also up here on my forehead. It is a very dark color, so you do have to be a little bit sparing with your brush. Only lightly dip it in, and it blended out beautifully on the top of the foundation. It didn't like cake up, or it didn't grab anything. It blended out really easily. And the highlight powder was exactly the same. It is quite pigmented, and you do have to be a little bit careful with it because you don't want to end up with obvious yellow powder, but if you just use the right amount, it really does brighten up under your eyes, and I really quite like the effect. You also get a really awesome mirror in there, so it's a decent sized mirror as well, so if you're traveling, that's perfect. Then I did the blush. Now the blush is in a black packaging with rose gold writing instead of the more blushy color packaging with rose gold. And again, you get 3 blushes, so you get a very pinky blush, an orange blush, and then almost a very plum blush. I first took the very pink blush across my cheeks. Again, I wasn't recording it, but I did take it across my cheeks there, and it has quite a bit of highlight in it anyway. It's a very glowy blush. and it was absolutely beautiful. Very pigmented, so you do have to take it lightly, but it is absolutely stunning. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but I also took the Autumn Plum blush, very, very tiny amount. This is very, very pigmented, so you do want to be careful. Very lightly dip my brush into that, and then just sort of tapped it along just to add a little bit more of a deeper color to my cheeks. But these blended it really beautifully. They're so pigmented, but they do have a bit of glow to them. So if you like matte blushes, these probably aren't the best for you. Then continuing with face products, I also picked up a highlight palette. So again, this is the more blushy packaging with the rose gold. And again, you also get the 3 colors. So you get a really pinky highlight, a more very white highlight with sort of purple reflex to it, and then a more goldy tone highlight. And I just applied that onto the high points of my cheek, and then to my nose, Cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin as well. I do want to do just a little bit of a swatch just to show you the colors, because I only used one of them. So that is what they look like. They're super pigmented and so pretty. I mean, that's going over the top of something else, but you can see the colors there. So you got the pinky one at the bottom, the gold one at the top, and then like the white-ish one with the purple reflexes in the middle. The other two, I think, like the bottom and the top, are actually a little bit more pigmented, but the middle one is very, very pinky purple in undertone. So keep that in mind, but they are absolutely stunning. And I think they would look very pretty on the eyes for just like a little bit of color, like a little bit of different color if you wanted to play around with them. Now, I didn't say it before, but all of those palettes, so the contour palette, the blush palette, and the highlight palette, I paid $8.40. So very, very affordable. Then after that, I moved on to the eyes. So the actual eyeshadow palette that I picked up, which is this one here, is an 8 shade bronze eye palette. This one was actually the most expensive out of everything by far. This was $16.80, or that's what I paid for it. And it was nice. So the first thing that I did was take the, again, I didn't record it, but I actually took the really, really white shade and just dusted that all over the lid. Then I went in with the light brown matte shade in the crease just to add a little bit of definition before going into the much darker brown just to the left of that one to add a bit of depth. Then I went in with the black one on the far right bottom corner, just again to add a tiny bit more depth into the corner of my eyes, the outer corner I should say, before taking the gold tone on my finger and just patting that all across the lid. These shadows seemed to be fairly well pigmented and they did blend okay. There's not a ton of payoff on my eyes really. Like, you can tell I have gold on my eyes, but it is not like it is super, super in your face. I didn't try this with a setting spray or a brush. I only tried it with my finger, but it would be interesting to see if the gold gets a little bit more payoff when you use a setting spray just to sort of wet it a little bit. But they seem to blend okay. I will just do swatches of them as well, because it does claim on the front of the box that they are high pigment, so that is quite a claim to have. So there they are on my fingers. And then there's the first row on the back of my hand there. So there is a little bit of pigment. That grey brown is quite patchy though. It's not very super pigmented, like not as pigmented as I would want it to be. But I suppose you can kind of work with it a little bit. And then the bottom row, there is the bottom row there, a little bit like way more pigment in these deeper colors than it was on the top. So you've got the dark brown, the light brown, the really pretty coppery purple shade, and then the black. So again, I would not call this high pigment, just me personally. The black is not very pigmented. It's actually that top shade there. It looks more brown. It's not a very deep black at all. This coppery shade here is really, really pretty. That brown is quite nice, and so is that one. For transition colors, they do blend very nicely. I didn't have any issues with them, but they can be a little bit patchy, and you do have to sort of finesse it a little bit more than you would with other shadows. So I think for $16.80, I would actually say give that a pass. I think you can find much better eyeshadows in the drugstore that are cheaper. Yeah, I think that's just a little bit expensive for the quality of the shadows. They're not terrible, but they certainly aren't the best ones that I have tried on at first glance. Then I went ahead and did my eyeliner. So I actually got a kit where you get a pencil and liquid in the same box. And for that, I paid $7.